Yeah,
In the
we had our blunts pre-rolled, we
Yes.
had our bottle of tequila, the kayak was all inflated,
That's right.
and we had two cars, because this is what you do is you park one car at the bottom,
Mhm.
then you drive up to the top and you kayak all the way down, you got
Mhm.
your second car waiting for you. And it's like a 4-hour trip to go from the top of where you put in
Mhm.
at the American River all the way to Lake Folsom, which is near Sacramento. And if you're a experienced rafter,
Mhm.
you know to call the ranger station first and check the water levels, because there's a dam that controls the flow in the American River, and there's a rating, there's a number, it's like CFM, cubic feet per minute, and they go, oh, today the river's at 700 CFM, or it's at 350 or whatever, and the experience guides know, oh, if it's at a certain number, the rapids are going to be more intense, or it might even be unsafe levels.
Yep.
Well, of course, we didn't know to check that, and so we just went up one random day. It was a nice sunny day, so we figured, hey, why not? And what we didn't know was that the river had been closed because the levels were so high. Somebody had just drowned a couple days prior, and so they closed the river where you put in the
right.
rapids.
Yep.
They can put up the chain and say like it's closed. And so it had just reopened the day before, but it was like the maximum allowable flow, where these are like class 4 and class 5 world class rapids.
Yeah.
And we didn't know that. And so we put in, and how it goes, I don't know if you've ever been rafting or seen it before in the movies or something. There's like rapids all the way. But then there's slow parts where it's just kind of like floating. And then there's the really big ones that are like little mini waterfalls and stuff that they have names. And so we're going, and of course, as soon as we get in the water, we light up one of the blunts, we take some shots. And so we had just finished smoking a blunt and taking some shots. And we're coming up on the first named rapid, which is called Triple Threat.
Oh.
And because there's 3 back to back, like big ones.
That's right.
And leading up to Triple Threat, my cousin's in the back. The person in the back of the canoe does the steering.
Yes.
And controls where it goes. The person in the front just kind of controls the speed. And so my cousin's in the back, and he's steering us right towards all the big ones because it's fun. And he's back there going, woo! We're getting splashed, white boy stuff.
Yeah.
And it's very much a white boy sport, which, anyway, so we go, and he's steering us right into all the stuff, and we're getting splashed, and it's fun, and it's cool. And then right when we get to Triple Threat, the very first dip from Triple Threat just pops us both right out. And we both get popped out. We have helmets and life jackets on.
Okay.
But because it's small, it just, there's nothing to hold on to.
That's right. Yep.
We just both popped right out.
Yep. No seatbelts.
And no seatbelts. And so we swam Triple Threat. But when we got popped out, I go underwater, even with the helmet and the life jacket. And then right as I'm coming up, and remember, I just drank and smoked. I don't have the best wind because I've smoked, and I also smoked cigarettes at the time too. I was a pack-a-dayer of Newports when I was 18. And so I got no wind, and I'm coming up to take my first breath after getting unexpectedly dunked.
Yes.
And mid-breath, I get sucked down
no.
into the second Triple Threat.
No.
And then I barely come up again on the third part. And by this point, it's starting to get scary. The water throws you all around, ragdoll, like ragdoll. You don't know what's up, what's down.
Yep.
You're supposed to keep your feet pointed downstream because there's rocks.
Oh.
And you use your feet to absorb the shock of hitting the rocks.
Right.
And so that's all I was trying to do, was keep my feet pointed downstream. Okay. But I had no wind, and I had already got sucked down twice. And then I get sucked down a third time on the third one of Triple Threat, and I never came back up. I got pinned to the bottom. And even with the life jacket, because the force of the water is so great, and it's like a little mini waterfall, the force of the water coming down pushes you down against the rocks that are at the bottom. And so I remember the ceilings in here are about, I don't know, 8-foot ceilings, I guess.
About 9 feet.
Maybe 9 or 10. The water was about that high. And I was stuck on the bottom and I was looking at the rapid from underneath.
Wow.
And I wasn't moving anymore.
Oh, no.
And I remember thinking, this is bad.
Yeah, this is it.
This is not good.
Yeah.
And literally scenes of my life started flashing before my eyes.
That's right.
Things from the past and like,
yep.
And I was an atheist at this time, so I wasn't thinking about God or God saving me or anything. I just remember thinking, this is bad.
Yeah.
I need to get out of here.
Yes.
Because I was already out of breath, and now I'm underwater for like
you're about to drown.
Long enough to think this is not good. Why am I not moving? I'm going on like a minute or two.
Oh yeah.
And I was already winded, and I was like, somehow I just wiggled.
Wow.
I wiggled and wormed, and I just got out of there.
Wow.
And I popped up again. I was way out of breath. By the time I popped up, I saw my cousin and the raft were way ahead of me. And they went down another one and just out of sight. So I just start swimming to the side. I get to a rock. And I just laid on this rock and I let my cousin go. There was nothing I could do, right? So I'm just laying on this rock.
Must have been an angel down there trying to help you get out of that situation, huh?
Well, the person who died, they didn't find that body for days because it was pinned to the bottom.
That's what I'm saying.
So that's what happens. You get pinned to the bottom and you're done.
Yeah, that's grace of God.
So I was laying on that rock, and there's guided rafting companies where you get the big 8-man raft and you have a guide. And those guys are just coming down, and I was laying on this rock and the guided rafts were just passing me. And finally, after so many passed me, some guys pulled up and they were like, hey, are you all right? And I was like, no.
Wow.
All I could say was, my cousin. And they were like, come on, man, hop in. Let's go find your cousin.
That's right.
So I hop in and they go down and I'm just like holding on. There's a little rope to hold on to on the big ones. I got no oar, no nothing. I'm holding on. And then we go down. It was a while before we saw my cousin. He was walking up the rocks. He was coming to try and find me. And so we find my cousin. They say, okay, come on, hop in. So that my cousin hops in. Where's your raft?
That's right.
And he's like, I don't know. Okay, let's go find your raft. And then so we go down. Another 15 minutes or so, we find the raft, and these guys were really cool and good, and they took us over to get the raft, and then there was one oar with the raft because my cousin, he never let go of his, which is why he went down faster because it kind of dragged him.
That's right.
And so they're like, all right, well, glad we found your raft, guys, but we're way behind schedule, so just good luck with the one oar. Just be careful. See you later. And they made us hop out and get back in the raft. And by this point, we're only like 25% of the way down.
25%.
And they said, okay, the next one is Satan's Cesspool. That's the name of the rapid. Because at Satan's Cesspool, it's one of the worst ones. But then afterwards, there's like a little pool that's like, it's kind of calm. They said, don't worry, it's not like Triple Threat. Satan, it's calm afterwards. So just stay left. And then when you get tossed, you'll be able to swim back to your raft easy. Like, that one's easy. Don't worry about it. And I was like, no. I was like, please don't leave me. I did not want to get back in that little one, but they wouldn't let me. They were like, no, you got to go.
Wow.
So then we had to get back in the raft. We got tossed on Satan's Cesspool, swam back, whatever. And then the rest of the time, it should have took 3 hours or so to finish, but it took 8 hours because I wouldn't let my cousin take us through any more rapids.
That's right.
I kept trying to go around him.
Right.
I would get out and look and be like, okay, we're gonna go this way. Like, I'm not about to go through any more rapids.
No more.
And he was getting mad at me, but I was like, I'm not.
Yeah, that scared you to death.
I'm not. Yeah, literally scared to death.
Yes.
So I would say that one for sure because I was pinned to the bottom.
Yeah.
We ended up making it home safely.
Good.
We got home hours later than we should have. Our family was sick. Like, our family was really worried at that point. They were like, hey, something's wrong. We haven't heard from these kids all day.
Did you ever go back in the future again to write?
Oh, hell no. No, I don't go anywhere near Whitewater.
He said no.
No. I would go skydiving before I would go
Okay.
whitewater
That was
rafting.
it. Okay.
No, that power of a river is nothing to be messed with.
Okay. That's all. Yeah. One time was all you need experience.
Oh yeah, I don't go anywhere near any whitewater,
Wow.
and for good reason.
Wow. So
this was before cell phones, so it used to always be, oh, call us when you're done.
Yeah.
We'd have to go find a payphone to call our moms and be like, hey, we're on the way home.
Mm-hmm.
So we didn't even call until way after dark because it took us so many hours to get out. Because even once you get to Lake Folsom, you got to paddle like all the way across the lake to get to where the car is. And so, yeah, we got home really super late, but we made it safe.
Thank God.
That was one for sure, looking back, where he saved me.
Yes. I know you were. It's good that you were able to look back and see all the times that God had his hands on you.
Yeah.
Even when you didn't have that relationship.
Yeah, and that's why I wanted to share the story today, because I never realized it
Yeah.
until after I got saved, and I was pondering on my own testimony.
Start looking back.
And Pastor Mark asked me to share my testimony, and I realized how much of it there really was. And so I thought this was a cool one that I didn't get to share last time.
I appreciate it.
So that was the second one where I really almost died.
Okay.
The car crash, I could have been paralyzed for life. I could have been pinned in that car.
Yes.
Had ruined, I could have had to, they might have had to cut my legs off. I don't know, because it was really bad.
Yeah, probably had bad knees,
At least, yeah, at the very least. Then what was the next one? Was it the motorcycle crash or the prison? No, it was the jail one.
Oh, this gonna be good.
Okay, so that was like 1819 in Whitewater.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm from the Bay Area
Mm-hmm.
in California. I wanted to go to college at San Diego State because San Diego State was known for being one of the top party schools.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the top party schools in the country. I had a lot of friends from high school who went there, but I didn't have the grades to get into that one. And so I had the bright idea of transferring to Riverside Community College,
Mm-hmm.
because Riverside Community College has a transfer agreement with San Diego State where if you take such and such classes and you get this much
That's
GPA,
right.
then you get in automatically to San Diego State, the transfer program. And so I was really only for girls and partying was the only reason why I wanted to go there.
Girls and partying.
Yes. They're also notable countrywide for having the best girls too. But
Oh, wow.
that's another story.
I love your honesty.
Yes. That's why I wanted to go there.
Yeah.
All for sin.
Yes.
All for the wrong
Yes.
reasons.
You were young.
Point.
You were
right.
young.
I was young and dumb, and I was an atheist.
Oh.
So Riverside. And I was already selling weed. I had been selling weed for a long time, so I thought I was an experienced weed dealer.
Yeah, that part one, you really went into details about
And
that.
so I had the bright idea of bringing a couple pounds of weed with me and moving to Riverside, where I didn't know anybody, because I paid my own way through school with selling drugs. So I brought a couple of pounds of weed, and I had planned on selling. The Northern California had better weed than Southern California, so when I brought that NorCal weed down to LA area,
Yeah.
I was immediately very popular.
Oh, of course.
Amongst that circle.
Yeah.
But what I didn't take into account, what we didn't really have in the Bay Area as much of the gangbangers. In LA,
Ooh,
they're
LA.
serious about.
LA gangs.
They got Crips and Bloods
Oh,
Black Crips and Bloods and Mexican Crips and Bloods, and
Yeah.
they're serious about their gangbanging with the flags.
And the colors. They
wear the
colors.
bandana hanging out of
Yes.
their pocket.
Gotta be the right color.
Yeah, and so I was very naive to all of that, and so I started going to school. I started making friends. Of course, all the friends that want to be your friends because you have weed.
Yes.
Those are all the wrong type of crowd. And then I also wanted to get a job so I could have some more pocket money while I go to school. And so I forget, it was, and I moved to Riverside. I had some friends there, a couple of people that I did know who were going to Riverside community already. That's why I went to Riverside with the same idea of trying to get into San Diego. And it was a friend of a friend introduced me to some guy, and this guy had a job, and he's like, "Oh, I can get you a job at my place."
Yeah.
And this was a masonry yard where they sell bricks and blocks and gravel and stuff like that. So I got a job as a forklift driver at this masonry yard.
Okay.
And this kid who got me the job, we ended up becoming good buddies because we worked, it was 11-hour days. It was a 12-hour day with a 1-hour lunch. And so, no, it was 11-hour day with a 1-hour lunch. So 10 hours on the clock. And so, and we also, it was an hour drive to work, an hour drive home, and we commuted together. Long day.
Yeah, very long day.
Okay. And so we were together 12 hours a day, Monday through Friday. And he was a good kid. He was a couple years older than me, but he seemed very nice and likable and just like a nice, honest, a good kid. You know, I say kid, I think I was 20. I was like 19 or 20 and he was probably 22, 23, something like that. And didn't think anything of it. I remember I'm new to the area. I don't really do anything except go to school and go to work.
That's right.
And, you know, like basically trapping before it was trapping in my apartment.
Yeah.
Before they had that word.
Oh, yeah.
And because I have my own apartment. And then after a couple of months of getting to know this guy, remember I'm there for partying. I'm into partying, but I got no friends really. And so this buddy of mine who we were working together, he calls me up. I think I called him and was like, hey, where's the parties at? What are you guys doing this weekend? He's like, oh, we're going to a party tonight. You want to come? And I was like, heck yeah, I want to come. Come pick me up. And so he comes and picks me up. This is my first time ever hanging out with him outside of work.
Okay.
And he comes and picks me up with his other friend. And again, I remember I was really naive to the gangbanging part. And the friend was like a skinny Asian kid, but he had a red bandana in his back pocket. And I didn't even think anything of it. And I had brought a fifth of Hennessy to the party. So I came out of my apartment ready to go with a fifth of Hennessy.
For sure.
You gotta have Hennessy for the party. And so we start passing it around. I think even on the way, we get there. And then I learned once we got to this party, this was a high school party, even though we were a little bit older.
Yeah.
And what I learned when we got there was we were the guys that weren't invited, that just showed up.
That's right.
And I remember
Party crashers.
I remember every party had those guys show up, and those were the guys that would always like instigate some kind of trouble or a fight or something.
That's right.
So we were those guys at the party, and I felt uncomfortable because I'd never been at a party where I was that guy, where I was unwelcome. But nobody knew me there, and so we were just we were drinking the Hennessy, and turns out the other two, my two buddies, though the one guy I had just met, my other buddy from work, they couldn't handle their liquor like they thought they could. And so we drank almost that whole fifth of Hennessy. And those two got really, really drunk. And the one guy was a rapper. And so he's like having a freestyle battle in the kitchen, just really drunk. Everybody's drunk. It was a kegger, a high school kegger. Oh, yeah. Probably 50, 75 people there. And they're having a freestyle battle in the kitchen. And the dude whose house it is, he's coming in with a second keg, and they're carrying the second keg, and they want to put it right where the freestyle battle is. And they're like, everybody out of the kitchen. But the guys are rapping, and they don't want to listen. They're in the zone. They're in the cipher rapping. Yep. And then they don't hear. And then the guy with the kegger, he's drunk too. He's getting mad. This is my house. Everybody out of the kitchen. He starts yelling. And then my buddy is the one who's like rapping. It's a one-on-one freestyle battle. And he doesn't hear anything until the dude starts yelling. And he's like, you ain't gonna yell at me like that. They start getting in each other's face. Starts getting into a fight. And now it's starting to escalate, how fights do with a bunch of drunk idiots. Yeah. And I'm trying to remain neutral, but everyone knows it's three of us where I'm here with these two guys. That's right. And it's turning into a fight, and it kind of starts getting hostile where I'm looking around, and I'm drunk too, but I at least have some wits about me. It's looking like it's about to be like a 20-on-3 brawl. Oh no! And I'm like, hey, you know what? I'm like, come on, man, let's just go. No, let's just get out of here. Let's go. Oh, come on! I'm like literally putting my arm around. I'm like, let's just go. Come on, let's just go. They don't want us here anyway. That's right. Let's get out of here. Let's get out of here. Yeah. But he's like pushing me off, like, no. He's just like set on fighting. So it makes its way from the kitchen to the front porch.
Wow.
And I'm trying the whole time trying to break it up. Let's go.
Yeah.
Like, to me, it's not even worth a fight.
It's not.
And we're on the front porch, and one of my buddies says to the other buddy, "Go and get my piece."
Oh,
And when he said that, the kid with the flag in his pocket walked off. And then one of the party goers comes up out of nowhere and pepper sprays my other guy point blank in the face. And so the one guy went to go get the piece, and the other guy just got pepper sprayed. And I'm standing here in the middle. I'm like just ready to defend myself in case people start swinging at me.
That's right.
So I'm fist clenched, ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
And, because I'm not about to sit there and just get beat up.
No.
And that was the type of person I am. Like, I'm going to fight for my boy, even if we are 20-1.
Wow.
And so, but still, I don't want to fight 20-1. So let's go. Let's just go.
Yeah.
Finally, I'm able to convince him, let's just get out of here.
Yeah.
And so we all go to the car. The three of us it was like parked around the corner. So I think we like got him out of there. And we get in the car. And as soon as we get in the car, I hear the sound of the in the front seat.
No.
And dude's been wearing a beanie all night long, and he pulls it down. It's a ski mask beanie.
No.
And I'm like, no.
Yeah.
And so I'm in the back seat. I start freaking out. I'm like, look, I said, it's not even worth a fight. I was like, everybody in there knows you. This is not that serious. I told him as we're driving back around towards the party, I said, don't do it. Everybody knows you. You're going to go to prison. This is not worth going to the pen over. And I said that to him.
Yeah.
And as I'm saying all that, he leans out the car over the hood, and the whole crowd was out front for the fight.
Yeah.
And he mag dumps into the crowd, into the high school kids in the front yard. Just as we're driving by, just mag dump like 10 shots into the crowd. And we drove away. And we got shot back at. I was in the back seat. Car didn't get hit, but like there was return fire. And so I'm in the back seat like this.
Yeah, of course.
Return fire, mag dump. I was in shock. I tried to warn him. I tried to break it up. I did everything I could. And then they take me home. He walks me in and he's like, "Are you all right, man?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm all right." I'm like, "See you later.
Yeah.
Get out of here."
I know, right?
That
is a blessing that not one bullet touched you.
No bullets touched me. Yeah, that was a blessing. But that's not where God saved me. So I was thinking, I'm good. Nobody at that party knew my name.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody knows where I live. So I'm good. I'm just going to lay low for a couple of days. I didn't go to work the next day. I had work the next day. I was like, I'm not going there. So I laid low in my apartment for about 2-3 days. No call, no show to work. They were blowing me up. Where are you at? And then about 3 days into it, I'm thinking like, okay, I feel comfortable going outside now. And I had my friends in the other apartment complex across the street. So I used to go walk over there to go hang out over there, play video games. Mm-hmm. And so I'm walking out of my apartment, I hang a right, I'm heading over to the other apartment, and 3 plainclothes detectives come and grab me. Oh, no. Like plainclothes, like they were wearing suits, like right out of the movies. Yeah. And they sat me down on the curb and showed me their badge. We're with Orange County Homicide. We're homicide detectives. And they told me that, right? We are homicide detectives. Let's go back in your apartment and have a little talk. Yeah. And I'm like, okay. They handcuffed me in front of my apartments, walked me back in, sat me down on my own couch. And they were like, all right, we're homicide detectives. Mm-hmm. Tell us everything. Mm-hmm.